Hey, it's Jamila, and I just wanted to make this quick video to share with you what supplements I took when I was pregnant. Now, you may or may not know, I had my first son at 37 in 2016, and then I had my second son at 39 in 2017. And so both of my sons were born prematurely for two different reasons. The first one, my bag of waters broke, and the second one, I had a complete placenta previa. And so my first bleed was my last bleed. So his birth was an emergency. My first son, I was under a lot of stress from work and some other things. And so, my waters ended up rupturing prematurely. They put me in the hospital on antepartum, and I ended up going into labor 24 hours later. But he had time to get the steroid shot and actually was on the nasal cannula the first day of his life, and then after that he was on room air. He was born 31 weeks and 2 days and was breathing room air within 24 hours of his birth. So he was almost 18 inches, 4 pounds and 2 ounces, and was, had the chubby cheeks and everything. So what that shows me is even though he was premature, he was magnificent, and obviously everything that I was doing was on track, as far as his development and getting him healthy, and why he was doing so well even though he was premature. Now, unfortunately, he did die. I have a video on that. It was due to no reason of his own. It was the causation, something was done to him. But my second son, unfortunately, was also born prematurely, and he was born at 31 weeks and 4 days. And there was no time for the steroid shot, so he did have to stay in the NICU for 4 weeks on CPAP, until his breathing. But he had no other health issues. And again, he had good color, good size, good length. Both of them were in the higher percentile, so it really showed that had I carried them to term, they just would have been, if they were healthy premature, imagine if I had made it 40 weeks, right? So I attribute that to the focus that I put into not only the supplements that I took, but also how I ate. So when we got pregnant with our first son, even prior to getting pregnant, I had already decided that I wanted to take Bradley birth classes. And so in that program, they teach you the eating method for a blue ribbon baby. I think you can Google it. It's like blueribbonbaby.org. But really eating those whole foods that allow you, high protein diet that allow you to really provide your baby with a nutrient-rich environment. Because what I loved about being pregnant and eating is that it's purposeful. You are building another human. And so for me, that was very kind of, something thrilling about it, like eating with purpose. So I give you that background so that you understand that I had the foundation of the education on how to eat from the Bradley birth pregnancy program, or childbirth education program, I should say, coupled with eating appropriately. And then in addition to that, these are the supplements that I took to kind of fill in the gaps or add extra. I'm also going to explain to you what I took with my first pregnancy versus the second one and why. So I'm going to jump right into it. With my first pregnancy, I basically just took folic acid and vitamin D. That was the extra, that was all that I took. But in addition to that, I also drank this every day. And this has tons of vitamins and minerals, all your basics for, like what you get in a multivitamin. But it has, the folate is methylfolate, which is the kind that, is easier for your body to absorb. And it also has superfoods, probiotics, antioxidants, adaptogens, all this other stuff. So I drink that every day, and then I took these. So that was my first pregnancy. So then after I experienced PPROM with my first pregnancy, premature rupture of the membranes, I said, okay, so with this pregnancy, what I'm going to do is figure out, I can't control the environment. I can't control the stress. But what I can do is I can build a bag of waters like steel. And so I did all my research, a bunch of research on, okay, well, what vitamins and minerals contribute to a strong bag of waters? And the number one vitamin that I kept stumbling upon that everyone recommended was vitamin C. Okay, and this is the brand that I use. The brand that I use is Nutrilite. It's a very trustworthy brand that I've been using all my life. I have family members that sell it, and it's just a high quality brand. So anyway, vitamin C. So I implemented vitamin C, and this is actually 500 milligrams. So that's how much I took every day. Was I took vitamin C, and then along with that, I also took an iron, okay? And I would vary the iron on and off, you know, like every other day, because when you start to take too much iron, you can tell you are having too much iron. Let's just say it like that. So, but I took it every other day because I wanted to build up my blood supply because I knew I was going to have a cesarean, right? The other thing is I took Cal-Mag D. So this was calcium and magnesium. And I took this twice a day. And I took this because with my first son, when he was in the NICU, he had been in there for about a week, and they, you know, they do blood tests all the time and said, oh, his calcium is a little low. And I thought, you know, that's odd. But I just, you know, I mean, it wasn't anything dangerous or life-threatening, but I just made a mental note of that. And I said, okay, with this pregnancy, I'm going to be taking my calcium. And he didn't have any deficiencies. My second son, he had no deficiencies. Now, another mineral that I discovered is very helpful with the amniotic sac, strengthening it, is DHA. And so I wanted to take a vitamin with an omega-3 vitamin with DHA in it. And so this is what I chose. And I took one every day, and it was, let's see, one has 1,500 milligrams of DHA. And I only took one a day. And actually, it's 3 soft gels. So it was 500 milligrams that I was just taking, because I was going to say that's a lot to be taking every day. So I was only taking one, which is, I felt like that's enough. And you know what's crazy is that's DHA, plus I was eating 2 to 3 full scrambled eggs every day, which were enriched with omega-3s and DHA. And so all of that is so important, not only for the bag of waters, but for the brain health. And my sons both, you know, had these heads, and their development was, you know, exceptional. My first son, you know, didn't live long enough to really see those huge leaps, but my second son, you know, here he was born 31 weeks and 4 days. And the last time we went to the developmental doctor on his motor skills, he was in the 75th percentile. So he's almost actually caught up to his chronological age versus his adjusted age. And I contribute that again to good nutrition during pregnancy and continue good nutrition through nursing, you know, because I'm still breastfeeding him. He's about almost 14 months now. But so I took that for the DHA. And then I took vitamin B. My mother recommended that I take vitamin B, so I just added that in. Why not, right? So, and of course, I took my iron. I mean, not my iron, my folic acid. It's called iron folic because it has iron in it as well. And then, of course, my vitamin D. So those are the vitamins that I took every day, and every morning drank my shake. Okay, so second pregnancy, to sum it up, every morning I drank my shake, and then with my breakfast I would take vitamin C, iron, folic acid, vitamin B. And with my lunch I would take my omega-3, vitamin D, Cal-Mag. And then every other day with breakfast, I would take my iron. Now with my dinner, I would take another Cal-Mag. Okay? Now, something else that I implemented with my second pregnancy, in addition to taking these internally, another mineral that I stumbled upon that was very useful is magnesium oil. And so I started using this. But the way I used it, and I actually found out about this on Mama Natural. You can find her on YouTube. She's all over the place, and she's great for information on pregnancy, childbirth, etc. So I learned about this from her. And what I found it to be useful for, because magnesium oil is good for the muscles and relieving pressure and pain, or not pressure, but like pain relieving. And so what I would do, excuse me, is I before bed would spray it, because I put it on my hands. I didn't spray it directly on the area, because magnesium oil, it can burn a little bit when it goes on. It's not literally burning your skin, but that's just how it feels. And you just have to kind of just work through it. So I would spray it on my hand, do like 2 pumps on my hand, and rub it into one hip, and then rub it into the other hip, and then I would rub it across my entire lower back. Now, why did I choose that area? Because when you're pregnant, you can only sleep on your side. And outside of pregnancy, I'm more of a back sleeper. Well, what happens is the heavier you get, I would actually have hip pain, laying on my side all night, even from one out. That's actually what would wake me up, is I'll be laying there and like, oh, it would start to hurt, so I'd flip to the other side. Well, rubbing magnesium oil into my hips before bed every night helped to alleviate that, and I had no pain. I had like no back pain, no hip pain. Crazy, but yeah, it's if you do your research, you'll find out that most Americans have like a magnesium deficiency, but it's such an important mineral. So yes, magnesium oil. And I also eventually started to spray it on my belly so that it could help soothe those Braxton Hicks contractions. So these are the supplements that I used when I was pregnant. And this is just a little sampling of the ton of information that I have read, studied, gone to classes for, that has to do with the whole TTC, pregnancy, childbirth realm. So if you have any questions about anything that I've talked about here, I'll put the links down for the websites that I got these items from, in case you're interested and you want to look into them further. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, so I'm not making a recommendation. I'm just telling you what I used, and of course, do your own research and then make the decision that's best for you. But if you have any questions, feel free to put them below in the comments, or you can send me a direct message if it's a more personal question. Also, be sure to visit my website at coachjamila.com if you're looking for any additional one-on-one support and guidance, perhaps even some coaching, as it were, in this arena of trying to understand exactly how to navigate through, because it's a lot of information out there, especially if you're in the 35 and over category. It's a lot of misinformation out there about fertility, etc. And I'm happy to share what I have learned with you. Like I said, feel free to reach out to me in the comments or direct message, or visit me on my website, coachjamila.com. Anyway, it was great talking with you. Thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful.